Good day, everybody. I'm going to talk to you today about the potential of water wars that are going to be pending for the western states. If you find this content interesting, please reach down and mash the like and subscribe and share it with your friends if you would. But as Lake Mead diminishes, we can see it continually, and there's a lot of discussion about it. And so many people are unaware of the problem and how critical it really is. Unless they see videos, the news isn't really reporting much about it, especially if you get away from basically the Las Vegas area. But Lake Mead rests on the southern border of Nevada. It actually splits with Nevada and Arizona. And it's very easy to see how badly it's dropped just by looking at the toilet bowl marker all the way around it. And this is the worst condition it's been since it started filling back in 1935, 1934, whatever the case was. Lake Mead is only about 30 miles east of Las Vegas. And for us to really totally understand the politics and landscape behind Lake Mead, we need to know about the history and everything that led up to when the dam was built, and water rights and all that. Just upstream of Lake Mead, going up the Colorado River, is Lake Powell, and it is equally as bad or possibly even worse condition than Lake Mead is. And I've heard talk that they may end up just draining Lake Powell all the way down and let it just be a pass-through or use it as storage for flood control until things turn around and just operate through Lake Mead. So to talk a little bit about the politics of the Colorado River system, in 1922, 7 U.S. states signed the Colorado River Compact, and it established the rules and regulations regarding the removal and usage of water from the river. This compact, along with other rules and regulations, is collectively known as the Law of the River. There's a lot of other factors that come into this. First, let me go back. I think first we need to talk about the term vested water rights. The phrase vested water rights will grab the attention of most ranchers all across the western United States. This is because the water laws in the West are founded on what is called the prior appropriations doctrine. The prior appropriations doctrine allocates water based on the first in time, first in right principle. Therefore, the first person to divert water and put it to beneficial use has a superior right to take the water before junior water rights are satisfied in times of water shortage. Now that's an important piece to think about, the junior water rights and shortages. Arizona falls in that category, and it's becoming, or will seriously become, an issue here in the really near future. Initially, the prior appropriation system arose based on the customs of early settlers rather than being based on state laws. All the states have their own varying different laws that came into existence basically around 1905. But about surface water rights that arose prior to 1905, artesian rights prior to 1913, and groundwater rights prior to 1939. All of these rights precede any of the new laws that were established with Lake Mead. Now, vested water rights can be extremely valuable because they have the earliest priority dates. That means the owners of vested water rights may take the water before junior water users when there's not enough water to satisfy all existing water rights from a particular source. And Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Utah, Colorado, they all have their own varying different laws, but basically they all have to fall under the same one. Vested water rights started as a vested water right claim. Something I'd like to bring up is that there's been a lot of comments in my previous videos that cattle ranching and dairies and such as that should be the first to be taken off the water, but in reality, they became in existence in the late 1800s and early 1900s in open range cattle ranching all around the western states. They have the first claim to the water. They fall in that first claim right. I'm going to provide a link to the source of my information because there's so much in this that I can't possibly tell everything to you in the amount of time that I want to spend on this video. But I can tell you that with Arizona being a junior water member, they're already people that live in rural areas in not only Arizona, but Nevada and California as well. They don't have water companies and established forms of getting water. They truck their water in and store it in tanks on their properties. And there are a number of them that I've seen on the internet now that are speaking out that as of January, they're not going to have a source of water at all because the water districts that provide the water to them now in the way of a water truck to go pump their water tanks, they're going to stop providing their water. They're going to save it for their own districts, and so much for those people. Now, I think it's probably the realtors that were at fault in here by non-disclosing the fact that they didn't have any water rights at these properties that they sold. So these poor people that bought the properties, I'm hoping some of them speak up in the comments, and maybe it'll be a good opportunity to share more about it. But so many people aren't going to know how serious this is. To a lot of people, they're going to have no water come January. Yeah, the first of the year, January. Their water is going to be cut off for the use of that water. I know there are already suits that have been filed. I'm not going to go into that part of it. It's something you can research. According to the Bureau of Land Reclamation report, an estimated 70% of all water that passes through the Colorado River is allocated to agricultural use. This usage includes agricultural land from Wyoming to Southern California, yet a majority of the practice occurs in Southern California. The Imperial Valley alone, the irrigation district, is responsible for roughly 30% of the water that is released from Lake Mead. California is arguably the biggest beneficiary of the entirety of the Lower Basin Compact. Arizona has contested California's large portion of the water rights several times in the Supreme Court. If Lake Mead continues to drop in water level, we will likely see more significant cuts to appropriated water for each compact state. However small at first, these cuts will eventually give way to rising tensions over the rights to a necessary resource. If we do not plan accordingly or take notice of the climate crisis, we will soon see water become one of the most conflicted resources in the American Southwest. The problems are fast coming upon us. I had someone mention in the comments that the Western United States has become the stage for a Mad Max film. Questions over the fairness of the water allocations is going to be one of the most hotly debated items in our coming future. I hope you found this content interesting. If you would, please reach down and mash that like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps our channel, and I'll keep trying to bring more content to you as I can. Thank you.